Frank Ocean. You know, I discovered Frank Ocean in like 2019, literally, 4 years ago? 4 years ago. It's not like I didn't know he existed before that, but didn't really have a picture to fit the name, you know? Didn't have a face to fit the label. 2019, I was introduced to him. Ever since that time, I've been a fan, and it just grew over time, and now, I mean, I don't really have any merch or anything like that, but I'd say I'm still a big Frank fan. But the reason why I'm even here today, I want to talk about how his relationship that he has as an artist, because when you're an artist, it's something that you see that isn't so, like, you could say maybe it's simple, but especially when it comes to the part of monetization or you wanting to live off of it, it can become a really interesting or complex situation, because art is inherently a product. But when you're an artist and you're like, well, I want to make a living off of this, then it has that cookies and cream of product and art, right? But at the same time, products can be, at least typically, right, mass produced, or right, you go on a 3D printer or something, or you get a factory and people make it, right, if you have the money or whatnot. Art, though, if someone's buying your art, you know what I mean? It's not a bunch of yous in the factory. And if it's a bunch of people in the factory making art, then it's not your art, it's theirs, you know? So when it's your art, it takes, I don't know how long. Art can take years and months or days or minutes. And when it comes to like the law of supply and demand, it becomes really interesting, because, like, for example, Frank Ocean has made music that's spoken for himself, right? He dropped an album like, it's been 7 years now? It's been 7 years and people still talk about it. Still talk about it, right? And he's been able to live off of that. Especially, he's dropped other stuff too after that, but at least as far as I know, it's been 2-3 years since he's dropped even a single, and then even more since he's dropped an album. And I've been seeing people, even including myself, you starting to get really itchy on, you know, like, hey man, when is a new one? When's something coming out? It's been a long time. What's going on? And it's interesting because it's like, at least as far as I know, he's not really active. Like, I don't hear about any posts. I haven't seen any posts, no stories or nothing saying about anything coming out anytime soon. Yeah, something recently in the Coachella thing, he talked about how that there is an album that exists, but not that it's coming out soon or anything like that. Something like that. I put up on the screen. And so seeing that, you know, it's like, well, it's interesting because if you're an artist and this is your career, this is how you make a living, this is where you make your money at, then there's that side of, okay, like, I am here for what you do. And there's also that thing of, there's that expectation that comes with it as well. I'm not saying that therefore he needs to drop something tomorrow because we say so. It's a thing of, you know, do we matter to you? Now, I know he's also, I just from what I remember, he said that, you know, he said, like, thank y'all. I appreciate the love in your ears that you've been giving me all these years. He said that, you know, but other than that, it's been a while since I heard him say anything. Now, I'm not saying every month he should have a thank you appreciation post or nothing like that. it's a thing of, yes, he's mysterious, quote unquote, or he's not out there like that, and that's fine. It's, I don't know, can he be maybe a little more communicative? You know, because of course there's that boundary between fan and creator, I guess you'd say, put it as like an umbrella term. And of course there's that boundary, right? I'm not his friend, you're not his friend, we're not his friends. But it's still the thing of, even if we're as audience, you know, maybe at least some sort of communication would be nice. Or I wonder what he thinks. You know, once again, I'm not sure if he just doesn't like interviews or what or something, but, you know, it'd be very hard to know what he thinks. And hearing that the Coachella thing didn't go too well. I mean, apparently he got a, you know, ankle injury, and he wasn't singing to quite a bit of songs. He came late, left early, whatnot. Maybe expectation has consumed his image. I mean, of course, you know, if he's had good performances, good music, that's what you're going to expect, because that's what you're used to. And his relationship with his fans, or with us, is just an interesting one, because not only is it that law of supply and demand that takes into effect, where his supply is scarce, our demand is high. And then there's a part of, well, art takes time. And then there's also the part of, when it comes to the relationship between the artist and the audience, you know, maybe about communication or care, or kind of that duty, you'd say. Because if it's a career or some sort of job, you could say it's some sort of a job or something, but at the same time, since he's an artist, it's not like he has a set schedule. You know, he doesn't have a 9 to 5. He's not clocking in for his hours in the studio or something. You know, he just does it. Yeah, you know, he just does it, and we just wait. And it's really just seeing that, also seeing that within myself too, when I'm making music, is really interesting, because you start to see more of how it is on the other side, rather than only having that one perspective. And I think this is something that it is important to be aware of, because I think we get so used to, okay, they drop songs for like 3 years, and then the moment it takes them longer, we're like, whoa, like, what's taking so long? It's that expectation that artists have, that it's at the same time warranted, but at the same time can be unrealistic. Or it's hard to balance expectations when it comes to something that can be so ever changing. Because I think art reflects its artist. Art comes from your imagination. And so if an artist, like, simply the fact that art comes from your imagination already shows how, like, abstract and just complex or whatever of a thing it can be. And who knows how much time that takes. Heck, you don't even know how much it costs either. I don't know how much art costs. How do you decide the cost of art? You know? And even that thing of how you perceive that person. You know, it took me a while to really, you know, of course, as a kid, I was dumb, whatever, but it took me a while to really see that, oh, wow, like, they're just a person. And so, like, Frank Ocean is a dude. You know, he's a dude just like me. He's a human. But since, of course, it's hard to see that because we only see the music and some interviews and some performances or whatnot. It's hard to see that, but at the same time, it's like, doesn't mean it's not true. Because we know, well, he is a human. It's not like he's some alien who's trying to be all mysterious so he doesn't get caught or something, So really seeing like, yeah, he's human. And he's a human and he's an artist, so both things that are going to be complex, complicated, and random, maybe erratic. And it's at a point to where seeing that, I'm neither waiting nor anticipating an album. It's kind of more of a just going with the flow, just going on with life. And just like for him too, he's going to go on with his life. And when it comes out, it comes out. And, I guess whether or not he communicates with us, that's the thing too. When it came to, he had a leg injury, I was wondering, well, why couldn't he just say that? Once again, maybe because I didn't look on his Instagram, right? But I'm always hearing things from other people. I hear less than literally from him, And maybe that's something he could work on. I'm not sure if someone would say, that's just how it is, don't worry about that, or that's just him. At the same time, maybe that's one of his flaws, communication. I don't know. But Frank Ocean is a good example of how the relationship between artist and audience can be complex and can be a battle. It can be great, it can be peaceful, it can be bloody, it can be brutal, it can be risky. And yeah, all the peaches and the mangoes that you could sell for me.